Right, hello everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the Havoc Time Boxing Podcast, brought to you by Havoc Media and PR. I'm your host today, Robert Blundell. We've got no Chris. He's out in New York at a press conference at the minute, but I am joined by a very special guest, my good friend, former WBA International Super Lightweight Champion, Tom Farrell. Thanks for coming on tonight, Tom. How are we?
No problems, mate. Glad to be asked, and it'd be a pleasure to have a little chat with you.
Oh, that's good. Nice to someone who actually wants to talk to us for the change. Just having a little look over the last couple of pods we've done, Tom, our listeners and viewers, we've had a couple in America and a couple over here. Obviously, a few of the UK fight fans might be quite familiar with you, but for our listeners in America, could we have a little bit of background on yourself and how you got into boxing and like your amateur career and how old you was when you actually first started boxing?
Yeah, well, I didn't really start boxing until quite late. I'd had a few goals when I was younger. I never really stuck at it. I was always more into football. And then when I was 16, I eventually stuck at going to the gym. Went to the gym, had a little spar, took to it like a duck to water, and I haven't looked back since. So since then, as I said, there was quite a late start. So I had 41 amateur fights for a few different clubs in the northwest region, obviously of Liverpool. But I didn't probably do as good as I probably should have as an amateur. Got to the ABA quarterfinals, and by that time I'd had a few goals with them, and I was already 24. So I thought to myself, it's time to go pro and give it a go and see how good I can be. And I think so far I haven't done too bad, and it's about getting the ball back rolling. I've had 18 fights now and been in some big fights, had some big nights already, but I'm sure there's plenty more to come.
So just talking about that decision to turn pro back in 5 years ago now, Tom, it seems mad that I know you've had like a good career so far, being on some good fights, but it doesn't feel like 5 years, does it? But how quick did you make the decision to turn pro? Like, was it did something happen specifically in the amateur game, or had you just had enough over a period of time?
To be honest, I always say the first sort of, I'd never really thought to myself, I want to be a pro, I want to make money out of it. And probably when I first turned professional, I never looked at it as if I want to make money. I just enjoyed fighting. And I thought, I see me mates turn professional. Robbie Davis, who a lot of people might know, he's the European and British champion currently at my weight. When he first turned professional, obviously we would be trained out of the same amateur gym, so we all went to watch him in the Olympia, and I thought to myself, I don't half fancy a little go at this. And that's it. As you said, it doesn't feel like it's been 5 years. It's been like a whirlwind, and I think I probably could have been more active, especially in the last sort of 12-18 months. But it's just obviously timing and being in the wrong place, the wrong time for certain things. And that's, as you said, I just want to get back busy now and get fighting again.
Yeah, well, just looking back at your over the early career, Tom, when you first turned pro, I mean, the first couple of years, 14, 15, going into 16, you were out fairly regularly, boxed all around Liverpool on, I think it was Steve Wood shows, boxed like all the tougher sort of well-known journeymen on the British scene, your Christian Lights, your Alexanders, your Trumans, your McRaes, they're all like sort of a rite of passage, all prospects box. How important were them fights for you and like gaining that experience, and what were your memories like, them small all shows when you first turned over fighting the likes of Christian Light and Chris Truman and Mark McRae?
Yeah, well, obviously Christian Light, he's as you said, he's a rite of passage, isn't he? A lot of people, well, most people who are around my weight will have boxed him. He's tough as anything. Not many people, I think he's been stopped 3 times out of 300 fights. And that was obviously a big thing for me. I was obviously saying I was going to win, but I wanted to put a good display in, and I think I did that night. I think I gave him a really tough night. I remember him saying when we look back, and then when you look at Chris Truman and Mark McRae, Chris Truman was my first real step up. I think he'd obviously won more fights than I had. I think I only had 6 fights. And I stopped him in a round, which not many people have done. I think even people who have boxed him since haven't done him that quick. I think Conor Ben took about 3 or 4 rounds, 4 or 5 rounds, and I think Sam Maxwell took about 3 as well. So I think that was the first sort of time anyone had seen me in a fight that there was a bit of pressure on me in, and I showed what I was capable of.
Do you think them fights are important for like young pros who were in the position you were in at the time?
Yeah, definitely. And like I think if you stay fighting, you like your journeyman and your people who you're expected to beat for too long, you sort of forget that as an amateur you've been boxing people. You've been boxing in competitive 50-50 fights where they can go either way, and you've been doing that for quite some time. And I think for you to go to fighting like virtually like glorified spars, aren't you? When you're fighting some of the journeymen, you sort of revert back to not wanting to have a good test and a good fight. I think a lot of people get found out by that by having too many fights with obviously people that they know they're gonna win.
After, as you said, the Truman fight was like your first sort of step up. Your first major one was when you were 8-0. You boxed Kofi Yates, who was 13-1 at the time, on the big Bellew show at Goodison Park, which for lads like me and you Evertonians was a massive event, wasn't it? A lot of people going into that thought it was a genuine 50-50 fight, and if anything, Kofi had more pro fights than you. How did that fight come about, and can you talk us through that a bit and like what it was like to box at Goodison and be on the pitch? Because I know you're a big Evertonian, so it must have been special, and it was sort of a step up in the shows you've been on as well, wasn't it, to go from them smaller hall shows to a big outdoor stadium event?
Yeah, definitely. I'd actually sparred Kofi, I think, because our gym, myself and his gym was No Limits, and they used to do the strength and conditioning for Arnie's gym, for the likes of like Paul Buller, Matty Fagan, so and so. So we were quite close with Arnie, and we ended up, me and Kofi ended up sparring each other in the lead up to my fight with Chris Truman. So it was mad how it come about, because the fight got put to us. What I think it was, I think Tony Bellew, or obviously Sky Matchroom, wanted to get like a bit of a local derby going on, and obviously I was offered a spot on the card, and I could have boxed like a 6-rounder for X amount of money, but he said, do you want like a decent fight over 10 rounds? And I just thought, at first I'd only ever done 6 rounds once, like done the distance for 6 rounds once or twice, and then stopped his 2 minute in 1 round. So I was like, didn't know whether I'd be ready for the 10 rounds, but I took that chance with both hands, and we got a spot on prime time telly on Sky Sports. I think it was on at like 6:30 or 7 o'clock, just after David Price, and that was my first real massive show, and it was a big night for me, and something that I'll never ever forget. But I just still can't believe now it's 3 years ago.
What was it like? Because obviously I know you go to Goodison every week to watch Everton. Like being on the pitch, like did you come out like coming through the tunnel and like the changes the players and that are in, or I'm just trying to get my head around that experience of fighting at Goodison?
It was a mad one, to be honest. I feel like I woke up at like I didn't really have a lie-in, probably because I was nervous and stuff. But by the time we left, like I think I got picked up at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We had to be down there early because my teammate Jed Carroll, he was fighting. He was like one of the first on. So we were at Goodison for about 3 o'clock. And then we were in like a bit of a lounge. I think it was the 85 lounge. Like a few of us getting ready, wrapped up, getting our warm-ups going. And I think before I knew it was like 6 o'clock. I was thinking, what's going on here in a minute? I just didn't really have time to think, and then it was one of them. We were ushered down the tunnel. Me music came on, and before I knew it was in the ring, and I didn't have much time to take in. Like looking back now, you think it was literally like a big whirlwind, and the bell went, and then before I knew it, I was 8 rounds in, and the finishing bell was in sight. So we got the fight done. Obviously got the win, and I just feel like it just went. It's like a big blur now, to be honest, because it just went so quick.
Yeah, I remember the fight because people were talking it as a 50-50, and obviously Kofi Yates is a good lad and a good fighter, but I think in terms of rounds, I think you did win it fairly comfortably. Was the fight, when you said like Truman was a bit of a step up, did you feel comfortable with this step up as well? And what was different with him and Truman?
I felt fully confident that I had to win, like I was gonna win. Obviously, every boxer says that going into any fight, and if you're not confident in yourself, there's no point in boxing. But I did know that I was the better boxer. So if he was more of a tough, come forward brawler, he was gonna try and make it difficult for me. But I knew from the sparring that we'd had and the capability in myself that I was going to be far better boxer. And I think when I was in there, you're always thinking of like the shot that you take, and like I felt like each round, like it was because it was so much of a blur. It was a big day. It was hard to take in how much I was winning the fight. So at the end, I was worried in case it was close. And obviously when the scorecards were announced, I realised that I did have it quite bad. And obviously when I watch it back now in hindsight, I think the scorecard probably was right. I was very comfortable for most of the fight.
After
a couple of little blips.
Yeah, but it was obviously he was a good lad and it was a good fighter, so it was never going to be an easy one. Obviously, going forward, that was a big bill. Your next one was another world title bill. Bellew Flores and Derry and Luke Campbell boxed on the bill. It was also special for you, wasn't it? Because it was your first title fight against Farrell Hakimi. Won a tough point decision. I remember being in there that night, and he was a game lad, wasn't he? It was a tough night, and I remember you winning it. And I remember when they said majority decision, thinking, "Whoa!" I thought you had it comfortably. From I was in the cheap seats for that one. But how did that opportunity come about to fight for your first title, the WBA International Super Lightweight title, and your memories of that fight and that bill and winning your first title?
I think, to be honest, what happened, the fight against Kofi Yates was supposed to be for the title. I think it was supposed to be for the central area, and then I think Eddie messed up with it, and it ended up being like an English eliminator. So I think Eddie was that happy with the fight that myself and Kofi produced. He said, you'll get you a title. You get you a title for your next fight. That should have been for one. So he stuck to his word, and he got me a title shot for the WBA International against it was meant to be against the lad from Manchester at first called Adam Haig. Again, another little local derby. And then what happened was he pulled out like a week or so before, with got a cut or got a knock in like sparring or something, and they ended up getting like a late replacement. So yeah, that was a tough night because it was a last minute stand-in in Farrell Hakimi. We couldn't get no information on, couldn't really get no footage of to see what he was like. And when he did come out and we did have a little look at him, he was good. He was very tricky and good, tall, like upright boxer. He could punch a little bit.
Yeah, I know. After that, you got a stoppage on a Steve Wood show in the Dev, and then a fight that I'll admit I hated it, Tom, when you boxed our mate Tommy Carras, because obviously you're big mates with Tommy, I'm mates with Tommy. A lot of people from Liverpool like both lads. That was another fight on was it Martin Murray top of the bill? So another big Echo Arena show. Obviously, I know people on the pod might not know, especially our American listeners, but Tommy was a 6 foot 10 stone southpaw who was your mate, and you ended up boxing. Hard lad to look good against, wasn't he, in all honesty? And just sort of wondering what your memories of that fight was and how that come about, because it was as much as I said I hated it, but when you watched it as a fan, it was a good fight to watch. It was just a shame it was two lads, your mates with fighting.
Yeah, it was. I think Tom was looking for a way back into boxing, really, because he'd been out of the game for a little bit, and he sort of got people to drum up a bit of interest in a fight with myself, and a lot of fights starting out through social media, and because he mentioned my name and stuff like that, and I think word got out there, and it was like, and Eddie said, you know what, let's get that fight on if you just want it. And he just said, yeah, well, go on then, let's do it. And, as you said, he's a big 6 foot southpaw, so he's not the ideal person that you'd like to box.
Yeah, I mean,
but just we knew each other so well.
Yeah, obviously the fight as well. It was a 10 round. It was an entertaining fight for the fans, wasn't it? You both like had a go, and obviously I think is obviously sort of your experience as a pro and just boxing ability did edge the fight. I remember Mark Lyson scored it by 2 or 3 rounds to yourself, which I think everyone who watched the fight agreed was fair enough, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think because we knew each other so well, it was a. I think I probably switched off at times and let Tom get back into the fight and let him get a bit of a foothold. And because I wasn't as, I probably didn't respect his ability to punch as much as I should have, and I let him get as I said get into the fight. And because of that, some of the rounds were close. So I think Mark Lyson obviously gave quite a few of the rounds 10-10 because they were hard to split. But yeah, I think as you said, I think when the championship rounds they started to take its toll, whereas I'd done the distance before. Tom had only done 8, and I think I always seem to finish strong, and I think 8, 9, and 10 is probably where I ran away with it in the end.
Just gonna go. Well, it's still sticking in topic with the timeline of your career, but I remember next you boxed this Hathaway up in Blackpool, and me and my friend Jack come on your coach to that one. So just talking around Chris Hathaway, obviously he's another name that people have boxed there. All the a lot of top prospects in your weight division. But one thing I did want to touch on is that you do a lot of tickets, don't you, Tom? And your fans travel to watch you. I think you had more there that night than anyone else. Just wondering, how important that support is for you, and have you always had that since you turned pro? All them people coming to watch you.
I think yeah. I think I've always had a good I've got a good group of mates, to be honest. And I think that's probably as well because a little bit of a testament to when I've didn't turn pro till I was a bit older, so I was 24 when I turned professional. In the meantime, I'd had quite a few jobs. Got a good group of mates and from different sort of different groups of mates who were all keen to come and watch me and support me. And I think along the way I've picked up quite a bit of following just from general boxing fans where I've been in good fights and I've been on big shows, and I think I'm a likeable lad where they like to come and see me and come and get the tickets off me, because I do them all myself. I don't get someone doing them for me, or don't use a ticket hotline. So if people understand me and they like that personality behind it. You know what I mean? So I think that's a good thing to have, because because I am popular, I do get good chances of being on good shows, and it goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's not easy work doing all them tickets, is it? So I know you are making your own sacrifices by doing it all yourself to get that support.
Yeah. I know it isn't easy sometimes. It is hard work when you're doing shed loads of tickets, and you've got to sort all the money out, and you've got to land it in, and then you're not getting money till on the day of the fight. Sometimes you put my own money in it and then get let down and don't get the money back. So it can be a bit of a pain, but as I said, it's the nature of the beast, isn't it? It's part and parcel of boxing. Unless you want to go on the road and be a journeyman.
Sticking with your career, after that Hathaway fight, you had your first loss against O'Hara Davis, who, whatever we think of him, all boxing fans know the fella can punch massively, can't he? And I remember from as a fan watching the fight, it was like a close first round, and then right at the very end, he seemed to catch you, which changed the balance of the fight. I was just wondering if you could just give us a little feedback on that fight and what you actually learned from that experience.
Yeah, you know what? I think with that, I just switched off. As you said, the last sort of dying embers of the round, and you can't afford to do that at a high level. As you said, whatever he is, he's he's not the most liked boxer in this country, never mind the world. So, but at the same time, he can punch. He is dangerous, and I just switched off and give him the chance to get the win. It was quite a comfortable night for him on the back of that, because once I'd been hit, it was always hard to recover then. But it's, as you said, that was just learning for me, and it'll stand me in good stead in the future.
Yeah, you got a couple of wins back, a little bit of momentum after that, then I know you had a little bit of time out the ring, which we won't really go into right now, if that's okay. But then your last fight, you come back and box Phil Bowles for the Commonwealth title. I mean, this was another one where I was there in the crowd, watching it from. And when it come in, the decision was a unanimous. Like, I'll be honest with you, Tom, I won't lie to you. I thought maybe Bowles by 1 or 2, maybe. Do you know what I mean? But it's hard from the stands, isn't it? I mean, I know. Just talk us through that Commonwealth title fight, how it come about, and I mean, I remember your social media after the fight. You were never a sore loser, but I found them cards a little bit hard to swallow as a boxing fan, in all honesty. Even if maybe Bowles was the right man on the night, do you know what I mean?
I thought it was a good fight. It was a good competitive fight, and you know there was plenty of back and forth action. Watching it back, you know, I do think Phil Bowles he did win by, as you said, by 1 or 2 rounds. I thought it was close at the time. I thought I might have snuck it, and then when I heard the scores, I thought, nah, there's no chance I've won by that. So, you know, I knew he'd won. And again, I had a lot going on outside the ring at that time. So I was just happy to have put a good performance in. Like, you know, I was happy with myself. I dug in 12 rounds for the first time, and you know, again, that'll stand me in good stead in the future. I've only had 2 defeats, and you know, it might make me more appealing to other people to box me. So, you know, I'm not scared now. I've lost me. I've been beat twice now, but you know, I'm determined not to get beat again. And as I said, that'll stand me in good stead in the future. This where I am now. It's about getting back in action. I've been a little bit unlucky the past 18 months with things that have went on outside the ring, and then more lately I've had a few knocks in training where I've had to pull off shows, and as I said, bad timing. So I'm glad now that I'm in a good bill of health, good state of mind where I'm at. I've been training hard, I've been sparring well, and you know, I'm ready for this next fight now in a couple of weeks' time. Well, 3 weeks' time on Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I was going to move on to next. You're out again in October, which I'm guessing you're going to get a bit of a warm-up, get a bit of momentum back. But, I mean, as you've said there with your all going, now I was speaking about this with one of the lads the other week. You know, if you look at your division, just the ratings in the UK alone, now that, and a few of you have lost your own, so there should be no fear. But there's some massive fights there, isn't there? If you look at, like, you know, Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall, Robbie Davis, Flanagan, Davis, Ritson, Tyrone McKenna, Joe Hughes, Glenn Foot, Bowes, Benson, yourself, Masha Dodd, Sam Maxwell, Surtees, Connor Ben floats in and out of that weight, Billy Raymond. You know, these are all big fights that could be. There's plenty of fights out there domestically for you, isn't there? Even a couple of like local derbies. Would they like talk us through this fight in October? What you'd expecting, and then after that, are they the sort of names you'd be looking after, or is there another route you're planning?
Yeah, no, definitely. There's obviously this fight in October. That's literally just to get myself back in the ring. I think that's what let me down when I boxed Phil Bowes. I hadn't boxed for 6 months, and again this will be the same. So I would have liked to have had a little like warm-up fight before that, but again the show got cancelled, which was out of my control. So it was one of them nights. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back in the ring on October. I don't really care about boxing. I just want to fight, and no, I'm looking forward to fighting. I've missed it. And then I'm looking at fighting then November time, hopefully getting a British Eliminator. Obviously Robbie and Ritson are fighting for that on the 19th of October, so I'm pretty sure that if Robbie comes through victorious, he's probably going to vacate that and move up to World Honours, because this next fight for him is a World Title Eliminator. So yeah, that's what I'll be looking at, British Eliminator, or some sort of Eliminator, and you know, and see what else is out there, see what other titles. As I said, domestic fights, there's loads of them. I'm just looking forward to being in big fights. You know, they're the fights that you want to get up for. And yeah, as I said, can't wait.
Yeah, I always do think about your weight class. That I know MTK are doing their own show in it, but it's a bit in house just for their fighters. But it is one of them where there's loads of names, and I get no one wants to lose a fight. But if any of them fighters were to lose to each other, it's definitely not the end, and they could all fight each other. I think it's something that could be like a good little merry-go-round. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that something you'd agree with?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's plenty of big fights in the domestic scene. Oh, I'm looking forward to being in them.
Obviously, I know, as you said earlier, with you selling tickets, that you do get opportunities, but obviously you've earned them because you've had all these fights and you've boxed these people, and you've boxed at short notice sometimes, and you've done the small hall scene, doing the tickets all yourself. Would boxing abroad, is that something that appeals to you as a pro? Because I know Matchroom, who you do box on a lot of their shows, are there doing more and more around Europe and America, Canada, Mexico, and that would something like that interest you?
Definitely, I'd jump at the chance, and I'd take a good crowd with me. So if
Yeah.
anyone in America wants a little dust up, then let me know.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because I think we're going to do a little bit of a 10 stone special on here this week, hopefully, Tom, and we're going to have Chris Algieri on later in the week. So obviously that he's a big name out there. He's recently boxed Tommy Coyle, hasn't he? So
Yeah.
I mean, if Tommy can go out there, why can't you? That's what I was thinking.
That's it. Yeah. I get myself a bit more of a name and that, and then I'll be out there. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to like getting back boxing and showing people what I can do.
Just to I am conscious, Tommy said we had about half an hour. We're on about 26 minutes now, so I do appreciate you coming on. Just one thing I did want to say to our listeners, maybe because I know you personally, didn't mean to glaze over anything, but, outside the boxing, I know you do PTs in the gym and a bit of training. Is that something you're looking to get into more full-time, maybe when, in a couple of years' time, when maybe you've hung the gloves up? Is that the plan, to stay in coaching and training?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love boxing. I haven't looked back since I first went in the gym, and when I was only like 19 or something, I ended up getting my coaching badge. So I've been an amateur boxing coach for for almost 10 years, and so it's in me. Do you know what I mean? I went to uni, got a degree in sport development and coaching, so I'm from that sort of background, and that's just a natural progression for me, and something I think I will be good at. And I will be able to use, obviously, my experience as a professional myself to pass on to the younger generation, and then obviously bring them through as professionals. That's something I definitely look at, obviously, doing when I'm older. I want, get me, obviously, I work in the gym at the minute, and in the gym where it's saying, and that keeps me going while I'm sort of waiting for fights, and keeps me busy, really, and keeps me head on the game. So yeah, I'm definitely looking at doing that when I'm older.
Oh, no, well, thanks a lot for coming on, Tom. I am conscious of the time, and I do really appreciate you coming on. We say good luck for your fight in a couple of weeks' time, and maybe have a little catch-up after your fight and give us a little talk through one, if that'd be all right.
Definitely, yeah, mate. Nice one. Thanks for having me again.
Cheers for that, Tom. Thank you very much.
Yeah, mate. See you later.